Hey everyone, my name is Mary Zarnecki. Welcome to this week's episode of Sticky Note Marketing, your actionable advice for how to make your marketing more effective, efficient, and impactful this week and every week. So if we are just meeting for the first time, if you haven't joined me for a previous episode or any of my online trainings, I'm Mary Zarnecki. I'm a marketing strategist, coach, consultant, and speaker, and I work with both big brands and scrappy startups to get your offers in front of the people who need them most. So today's topic is near and dear to my heart because a lot of business owners and entrepreneurs and professionals in this day and age are hunkering down. They're closing up. They're becoming very protective instead of shining their light. So my invitation to you today is all about becoming a lighthouse. Become the lighthouse that your audience needs based on your expertise and the value that you can bring to your audience. The topic today is coming out of the fact that I have both big brands like Estee Lauder and Starbucks and 3M that bring me in to train their teams on things like audience insights and message development. And I also work with small local businesses, entrepreneurs, and online service coaches and business owners to help them develop their brand strategy. And time again, I see misconceptions about what a good brand strategy really is. So I want to clear up those myths, and I also want to give you guys some tips today in things that you can do this week to establish your authority, build that core brand foundation, and magnetize the people to your brand, your business, or your team that are the people who need what you have to offer. And therefore, you're adding value and income to your business or your personal brand. So let's talk about this a little bit. So what is the big landmine that people step on when it comes to branding? Most people think that a brand is just a logo or a color or a font choice. So before fonts, before colors, before fancy websites, we need the core brand foundation. And what do I mean by that? We need to figure out, what does your brand stand for? What perception does your audience have of what your brand stands for when they think of you, when they come in contact with you? What do you stand for? What do you stand against? Who do you serve? What problem do you solve? All of these core strategic questions form the foundation of your brand identity, your core brand positioning, and that market dominating positioning that you're creating around the message about what is it that you uniquely do? What problem do you solve in a unique way that's differentiated from anyone else that does what you do, so that you are the only logical choice for your audience? That's what we're going for here. So if you are a professional, so if you are in a full-time job or you're working in someone else's organization and you aren't building your own business, your brand is basically how your clients, your colleagues, your team, your management perceives you, and that can impact your career. So it's very essential, even as a professional, to be thinking about your own personal brand. Now, if you're an entrepreneur or a business owner, obviously you've probably, hopefully, thought about what your brand stands for. But before logos, before websites, before all of that, we need clarity on what this core foundation is. So if you're a business owner, your brand really relies on what perceptions your audience has about you, what you stand for, what solutions you provide, how differentiated they are versus anything else that they can consider purchasing instead of you. So what does a strong brand foundation, this positioning, really need? So there are 5 core things. So you want to know who you serve, what problem you solve, how do you uniquely solve it? What's your unique special sauce for doing that? And then what do you stand for and what do you stand against? And that gets into kind of mission and vision and kind of values. But basically, if you can answer those 5 key questions, who do you serve? What problem do you solve? What's your unique system, strategy, approach, process to solve it? And then what do you stand for and who do you stand against? You will have, above and beyond some of your competitors, I guarantee, a more clear foundation when it comes to your brand. So if you're watching this and you're like, okay, great, what's this core strategic stuff going to actually do in terms of putting money in the bank? If you are not clear about what your brand is, how can you expect anyone who's watching you to be clear? So we as business owners, as professionals, need to get clear on what we stand for, what we want people to perceive when they come in contact with our offers, our content, our brand, so that it becomes undeniable. So many times as content creators, as business owners, as professionals, thought leaders, experts in our space, we think that we're saying things in a consistent manner. We're thinking that we're saying things over and over again, and we might even get sick of hearing ourselves say them. The problem is our audience isn't hearing everything we're saying. They're not reading every blog post. They're not reading every email. They're not seeing every one of your LinkedIn posts. They're only consuming a fraction of it. So we need to make sure that there is ultimate clarity and consistency in the way that your brand is coming to life. And that's through your brand voice. It is through your aesthetics, your colors, your fonts, and all that kind of stuff. But all of that can't be created until you have the answers to these 5 core questions, this core foundation of what your brand truly, truly stands for. So a lot of people have also asked me, hey, Mary, is this really important to focus on right now with the economic downturn, with, lack of interest in buying things? My customers are disappearing, my clients are disappearing. I really just need to focus on sales and pitching. This brand stuff can wait until later. And what I have to say to that is this time, more than ever, is more important for you to think about what it is you stand for. What value do you uniquely deliver that a substitute or a competitor can't deliver for your audience? That is the kind of thing that we need to bring forward in your brand voice, in your brand promise, in that promise that you're making to your audience. And that's what I want to invite you to do, is to shine that light, because whether or not this lasts for another month, 6 months, or a year, God forbid, but we are now establishing a relationship with your audience, or as a professional with your team or your company or your professional network that will last way beyond this current economic downturn. And if you shutter your windows now, if you close down, if you don't shine your light and you don't create a clear, consistent brand presence, then you are basically leaving that future, that connection, that relationship up to chance. And also those perceptions that your audience is going to have of you, of your brand, up to them, instead of providing them with guidance and consistency in forming that perception of where you want to take it, so that you can nurture a community, an audience, or as a professional, a team that aligns with the culture that you want to create and the impact that you want to have in this world or in your business. All right, so my invitation for you is to click the link above or below, depending on where you're watching this. And I'm going to be giving you guys my one of my most requested free guides. It's my free gift to you today about how to create a compelling personal brand. This is important for you whether you are a professional, like I said, working in another person's organization, or whether you are an entrepreneur and brand owner yourself. But this clarity about what it is you stand for and what you want people to perceive when they come in contact with you is essential to success, especially in this time of economic uncertainty. So I'd love to continue the conversation with you. I'll also post the link down below to my Facebook community for professionals and entrepreneurs. Love to continue the conversation with you there. And if you have any questions, please post them below or hop on over to the community and I will address your questions there. Cheering on your success this week and always, and I will catch you on next week's episode of Sticky Note Marketing. Cheers.